Hi, I'm Mike. Today's ranch video is on the way, but first I wanted to take about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, to tell you about the Herd Report. The Herd Report is our weekly newsletter delivered straight to your email from Aaron and me. In it you'll find updates about the ranch, upcoming events, and our personal insights, including behind-the-scenes videos. In fact, why tell you when I can show you what you're missing? Sign up for the Herd Report today. Head on over to our website, www.ourwyominglife.com. Scroll down to the bottom and fill out a quick form. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it's a great way to get more from your ranch. We look forward to getting to know you even better, so sign up and make sure that you don't miss a thing. Thanks a bunch. And now, on to Our Wyoming Life. Being born all around the ranch.
My dad.
Hi, I'm Mike. Calves are being born all around the ranch, and today I take you on a guided... Look at you guys knocking off. Hi, I'm Mike. When it comes to production on the ranch, we of course produce calves. Aaron puts out tons of produce, and we have pigs, and we have chickens. But the one thing that we produce more of than anything else on the ranch might just surprise you. Stick around. It's coming up on Our Wyoming Life. Welcome back to Our Wyoming Life, and thank you for joining us again today. It's always an honor to have you here, and just a little bit humbling to tell you the truth. When we started this whole thing, we had no idea the possibility, and with your help, I believe that we are really helping bring people closer to agriculture in general. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please subscribe, and welcome to a community that not only cares about each other, but cares about where our food comes from. Here on the ranch, we are a cow-calf operation. Our sole purpose is to maintain a breeding herd. That herd is impregnated every year, and we start having calves in March. Once a year, it's time to send those calves to auction, where they're sold to feedlots, who continue to raise them, feed them, and eventually they're sold again to meat processors, then again to distributors, before beef ends up on your plate. You can go back in the channel, check out playlists, and learn all about it. We're on the ground floor of a huge industry. Sometimes, being on the bottom, you get stepped on, but that's a video for another day. Annually, we sell about 150 calves, and that equates to about 45 tons of calves that leave the ranch each year. We also raise our own animals here on the ranch that we will keep here all the way until butcher. We finish them out ourselves. We dictate what they eat, how much they weigh, how much weight they put on, and we control the marbling of the meat by controlling fat intake, and we raise them for local sale. We do this not only with beef, but with pork. Overall, that means we produce about 5 tons of meat here locally on the ranch. That'll be sold locally as well. Erin continues in her gardens. Over a year, she'll sell about 3 tons of assorted produce at our local farmers markets. She'll donate about a ton to our local food banks, and of course, feeds her own family as well. Chickens produce eggs for us, over 5 dozen a week usually, depending on weather, and those are distributed locally also. But nothing on the ranch compares to one product that's produced right here. Over a year's time, almost 2,000 tons of it will be created, and I get the feeling you might already know what it is. We don't even produce it ourselves. The cows do it for us, although we do help a little. The number one item produced here on the ranch is manure. Each Angus cow will produce 65 pounds of the stuff all by herself. And believe me, it's a valuable commodity. But how do you utilize these meadow muffins? Well, the Plains Indians and early settlers used to collect them and burn them. In fact, they made a great heat source in the form of cooking and keeping warm. And that's especially helpful when there are so few trees and other things to utilize as burning materials on the Great Plains. Just for kicks and grins, let's try it ourselves. This is not something I've done before. And I imagine you have to have dry manure for this to work. I'm gonna pick a good sized chunk here and see what we end up with. I guess lucky for us, I haven't cleaned that stall in a while. You know what, just to be on the safe side, just in case. Oh, I'll give it this. It may not burn, but it smolders pretty well. Another use for manure is to produce biogas and generate electricity. It can be used as insulation, and it can even be used for sport. Cow chip throwing was popularized in Beaver, Oklahoma, and a guy named Robert Devers, I think, still holds the record for the longest throw at 185 feet and 5 inches. But realistically, manure for us means fertilizer. Cow manure is rich in minerals, especially nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which is great because those three things are exactly what you're looking for in a fertilizer. It's also great at supporting growth of bacterial microorganisms when mixed in with soil. It helps soil improve its texture and maintain moisture. Here on the ranch, we're in a situation that can be interesting. We're never guaranteed rain. I guess no one is. But over the last 5 years, we've spent 3 of it in drought. And it gets hard to justify the expense of commercially fertilizing a field or even reseeding when you don't know if you're going to get the rain that's going to make it worth it. If you spend $20,000 fertilizing and it pays off, that's great. But if you don't get rain, that's money down the tubes. So we tend to rely on our own fertilizer that we can produce here and help cut the cost without having to take all the risk. Cows are out there fertilizing right now. In fact, right now they're probably over-fertilizing. Fresh cow manure is high in ammonia, which isn't so great for the soil, and that's why we take a day or two every month and go out and scoop up as much as we can and get it in piles. Those piles are then mixed with straw, which begins the composting process. Some of this fertilizer will be used on the gardens, and anything that's anywhere near something that might end up on your plate has to be composted first. Manure can carry pathogens, bad bugs, and making sure those stay away from your body is priority number 1. Excess manure can become an issue too. We try to break down what we can't gather, and we spread manure over hay fields every single year. If it's stockpiled, it can become a water quality risk, and that's why we are part of a manure share program that helps us get rid of it. Another project that I'm considering is a manure tea program, where we dig a big pit, line it, and add manure and water to it, creating a slurry type mixture where the water can be pumped off the top and then spread over fields, adding nutrients back to the soil. The startup cost is a bit prohibitive, but it's definitely on the wish list. Manure happens, it's true, but the power of poo can be amazing, especially when we put it to work for us. Thanks for coming out today. In fact, we all want to thank you. And as we continue in 2019, we want to thank you for your support and your encouragement. This is somewhere that we never saw ourselves, but we're happy to be here, and we're happy to have you along for the ride. We've got more coming up from the ranch and a few awesome surprises as well. So be sure to subscribe, hit that bell button so that hopefully you don't miss a video, and come along as we explore the ranch life and escape the ordinary. Give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you soon. Until then, have a great week, and thanks for joining us in our Wyoming Life.